Hi everyone, welcome to our team call. I'm so excited to get back to doing these regularly. And I feel like tonight is a really special one because we are all coming off of convention. And I feel like this year was really special because for the first time in at least my life in network marketing and community marketing, I've been to a lot of summits and conventions, and it was always just kind of like if you went and you were there, great. You can't replace the energy from a live event. And I really feel like our team did it different this year. And it was like we were in the general sessions, whether you were home or you were at the Airbnb or you were, right there live or tuning in, like in between your full-time job, like we were doing it together. And it really felt like we were truly doing it together. Like, watching the speakers live and then having messages come in like, oh my gosh, I'm crying. No, I'm crying. It's like, I'm crying from home. I'm crying right here. And we're all crying. Like, it was like the speakers were so good. And I feel like every single person on this team has such a different brain, how they like absorb and perceive that information. And so that's why tonight I want everybody who was involved in convention or listening into convention to share one thing that they took away from it. But before we jump in and kind of go around, um, even if you were at convention, make sure you take the takeaways from the team because we have so many beautiful minds on this team. I want you guys to really hear it again because sometimes, like, I don't remember who said it, but it was like they dropped it in the chat and I was like, I didn't even hear them say that. I must have been like taking notes or whatever because I was dialed in. So just make sure you're really taking it in for like round two. But before we start that process, just a few notes for you guys. So, FYI, you guys know we have the Vivix Plus launch. And yes, it's already available only in bundle form. So that comes available as a standalone on the 17th. Okay. We are doing our webinar and everybody can do it however they want. I am for sure, without a doubt, running this event just how we used to do as an extravaganza, and any single person is welcome to join me. We used to blow those events out of the water, and they were amazing. I will be offering a cash or pass opportunity that night that expires that night. I will be staying up until 11:30 or whatever the time to get it done with my adrenaline through the roof. And as Heather Green always used to say, pacing back and forth in her kitchen, right? Like waiting for those orders to come in and those bells to ring. Like I'm taking it back because I'm really in a season of looking at what was working for our team that we stopped doing when we were having the most fun together. And that was one thing for me. So anyone is welcome to join. And if you've never done one with me before, don't worry, I'll walk you through it because it is a little chaotic. But that's okay. Now, I'm going to have a business opportunity call. Whether I'm the only one running it or people want to lock arms with me, I'm thinking the 25th, but TBD, do not hold me to that date. Oh, I think that's the last Tuesday or Wednesday of the month. But it's been really just like dialed into my head over and over and over again. Hey, these have to be consistent and it can't just be once a month. You really need two opportunities and don't run the calls the same. So, like if you got on the one from last night, it was very bio age centered, very informative, very this is the future of ageless. Like and it was awesome. It was so cool. And I want to do something like that again, but I also don't want to lose the pieces of our team that come together and, a few minutes of this is who I am. This is what I do for my full-time job. This is how I fit it in the small cracks of my life. And like, and I don't want to lose that either. So as a team, starting with me, we just need to hold these more. We used to hold them on the last Tuesday of every month. I really want to get back to that. And and so that's something I'm going to hold myself accountable to. And again, anyone is welcome to join in, and I'll, of course, announce when I'm scheduling my calls. Um, okay. One thing that I wanted to share before I pass the mic off to, I'm going to hand it to Katie first. Um, One thing that I have really been thinking on lately, not only for myself, but for our team. And something that I heard while we were at convention, I heard the term lack mindset. And it stuck with me so heavily. I know I've even chatted with some of you about it because it has come up in so many of our conversations about goal setting. And what I've realized, not only for some of the people on this team, but myself, really, it was like a personal reflection, is like when I'm setting goals, and maybe this feels true for you as well, is like I'm setting a goal that I've already reached sometimes. Like I'm setting a goal to desperately try to get back to something I've already done or trying to hold on to something so tightly that I've created that I'm not actually creating any room to dream bigger or beyond that. And so for example, last year July, exactly a year ago, as a team, we hit senior executive coordinator qualifications. We hit 30,000 in OV. And for the last year, I've really been, I've said this so many times, like in the hardest year of my life, the hardest season of postpartum depression. I can't even talk about it without it bringing me back. And I spent the last year going how do I get back to that? How do I get back to that level as a team? How do I recreate that, right? And we did that. No amount of this last year of letdowns or mistakes or trying and failing or resilience, no amount of messiness is going to take away from the fact that we did that. So I know that that's what we're capable of. I know because we did it, right? And I realized that I stopped my goal setting right there. It's if I can just get back to that. And so I never really created a plan to go beyond that. And I've noticed in some of my conversations with some of you that when we talk goals, it's whatever goal is right there. Whether it's I want to sign up one new ambassador. And maybe you already did that, but that person isn't working. So you're I just want one new ambassador. Or maybe it's a sales tier and you're right there and you've been so close to hitting it, or you maybe have hit it once before, so you know you're capable of it, and you're I just need to get back there. Or maybe it's a rank, or maybe it's a mindset, maybe it's a work ethic, right? It's whatever it is, are you actually dreaming big enough to allow the space for yourself to grow? Or are you keeping it comfy? Because I know I've been keeping it real comfy and I don't want to do that anymore. Um, so I want you to think about that when you set your goals for the rest of the year, because a lot can happen in the second half of the year. They said this actually at convention. I laugh because Derek always says that. They never write about the first half of the game. They only write about the second half of the game. What happens at the buzzer, so I think about that and just really dialing it in. A lot can happen in a month. A lot can happen in a day. You can have one person just walk into your life and completely change this whole second half of the game for you, right? And so don't forget about that and don't rule people out, right? Um, okay, and that is just one thing that I just kind of want to redirect you all back to, but um Heather at the very end of our call is going to share about NAD. I've asked her to speak on what it is and easy ways to talk to our customers to explain how it works. But before she does that, I just want to say to you guys, and I've heard Mel use this term, analysis paralysis. It's I don't know diddly about NAD or Vivix Plus, and so I'm just going to wait and I'm going to study and I'm going to be a student and I'm going to learn it. And that is all yes. Yes, 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 yes. Do that, right? The best place in this business to be is a student, but do not let yourself wait to feel like you're good at talking about it. Okay. And so, I had kind of set the goal for myself that I was going to get through the business opportunity call. Like one huge part of my goals is to grow our team. And so I was really dialed into that. And it was like, okay, now I need to take off running on this launch and invite to it, right? And invite to our event that is coming up on the 19th. So this is what you can expect to see from me while I learn. First of all, tonight, while Heather is teaching me about it, I'm going to be taking copious notes. Even one new learned thing is important. I'm not going to sit there and practice and like have my phone up and like da 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 into my stories and then be like, "Ugh, that was bad. I sound like I don't know what I'm talking about." Anyone ever do that? Be like, I sound like I stumbled through that, man. Like, wow, I really muddled my way through that. Um, so I'm not going to do that. What you are going to see me do, um, is set my phone up, hold my paper, and go, you guys, this launch is bananas. And I can tell you that I am starting at ground zero and I'm going to teach you as I go every single thing that I learn as I learn it. And I promise to teach you one new thing a day. And so here's the thing that I'm going to teach you today. And I'm going to read my notes until I can say them without my notes, right? So like you don't have to have it perfected, right? The more times you stumble your way through it, the more you learn it, right? So just keep that in mind that there are ways to share it when you're at the very, very, very beginning. And that's exactly how we teach our new ambassadors to come into this team. Hey, we're learning right along with you. Like that is your biggest flex right now to bringing people onto this team is that this is a launch that, like, I was talking to Mel's assistant, and she was talking about how she was like, I've never seen Mel this like mind blown about a launch before. Not in Beachbody, not in Shackley. And she's like, this is going to change the game for our team, our futures, our money, like our income, our everything. And so she's like, best advice, dial in. If Mel's doing it, do it. Like 30-day test group, whatever webinar she's running, show up to it. Like she's like, do it because this is going to change your lives, right? And so this is a really great opportunity to bring people into the team and be like, hey, we're starting this ageless movement, this bio age movement. You have to be a part of this with me because blah, 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 right? And so, um, when I'm going to be inviting, like that's the next thing that I'm going to be inviting to is that event on the 19th. But I'm actually going to take it a step further and I'm going to ask anyone who is coming to, it's like a two-part invite. Hey, number one, would you mind taking this assessment for me? And get every single one of your customers to take that bio age assessment and ask them personally, hey, would you mind? This is a brand new thing. Here's the link to access it. It's totally free. It will take a bit of your time because you have to do some things, right? So have a little few minutes for yourself to do it. But would you do me a favor? Would you take this assessment? Once they're in it, it's gonna bring them to a whole page. It's like BioAge. It's like all sh but music, right? It's like it's a whole thing. And so they're gonna be peeking around. They're gonna be like, what is this? This is cool, right? They're gonna learn about it. And they're teaching themselves. You didn't even have to ask them to come to the call yet, right? But that's going to be step two is like, hey, I've got this call that's going to go way more into depth about this BioH movement. Would you come on Wednesday the 19th, right? Or whatever date that is. And so I'm going to do it that way and I'm going to start with the assessment. And I liked if you were at convention or watching live, you saw that they actually tell you the score. Like they actually give you that information, and that is so cool. And eventually, as we get more into our training with like our amazing uplines, they're going to tell us what to do with that information, right? Because that's great information, but like personally for me, I don't necessarily know what to do with it yet. So you don't have to know that either. You can still ask them to take it. Okay. All right. I'm going to pass it. Actually, I'm going to start with Lisbeth. I'm gonna start with you, Lisbeth, and then we're gonna go to you, Katie.
Sweet. I'll probably at one point be switching to my phone, so if you see me twice, then just be. All right, so there's so much, but I was just like going through my notebook, and I think one of the most useful things is a reminder that we need to talk the language that they're going to understand. So people don't generally walk around saying, "I feel inflamed." Instead, we can talk about things like joint discomfort. Um, Instead of cellular energy, we can say like, are you feeling tired? Are you feeling like you're not firing on all cylinders? Um, you can talk about how every cell in our body runs on a little battery and compare it to a vacuum when you're trying to vacuum and the battery's low. And so that's like obviously talking about NAD plus. Um, I wrote these all down because I was like, these are so good. Instead of collagen loss, we're going to say structural breakdown. And we're going to talk about our achy knees and feeling like the Tin Man. And then talk about how collagen is the scaffolding for our body. Um, and then muscle. No, she never gave us a good one for that one. So that was like one thing that I wrote down that I wanted to remember because I think we can teach about science and all that, but I think in general, if we're trying to reach their pain point, we want to be speaking the language that they're going to be like, oh my God, that's me. So there you go.
I remember that, and I remember laughing my butt off because that girl it was in a master class, and she said something like, how many of you wake up and you're like, oh my God, like my collagen has just broken down overnight or whatever. And they're like, we were all like laughing. And how many of you are like, oh my God, my NAD or my cellular energy is low today, right? Like, it's like we don't really talk like that, but people relate to the pain point. It's like, my knee fucking hurts when I'm walking up the stairs, like my knees hurt because I was dancing on stage with Flo Rida.
Dropping like it's hot.
Oh my God, was so funny. Okay. But yeah, I love that. So thank you. Okay. Katie Baker.
Hello. Um, I you're gonna hear about from you heard from Lisbeth and you're gonna hear from Heather, like all the facts and all the fun stuff like that. But I want to talk about the feels and the epiphany that I had. I didn't get a chance to go to convention physically in person. It changed literally like within the last like couple of days before convention. And I honestly thought that I was just going to postpone the whole thing. I wasn't going to do virtual. And I was like, you know what? It's really not that, yeah, and whatever. I am telling you that if you cannot attend in person, and I understand it is a big expense and it is a big travel, that's fine. You don't have to be in person to get the full effect. You can get the full effect virtually. Am I angry that the master classes were not recorded? Absolutely. And when they send a little survey, I'm going to make sure that I say that because I thrive off from learning. But it was like I was in the room. Like they just the energy, the vibe, it was incredible. And the stories and the recording is still available. Like, so you still have access to it. And if you feel lost in your business and you don't really know where you're going or your next steps, watch clips of conference. Even if you don't have the full recording, follow Sarah Robbins on social media. Follow Mel. Follow and get like just little tidbits of it. Go to the Shackley Insider page through Instagram. That's all you need is little clips just to do a complete inspiration. And that's when I completely changed my complete growth and I was blown away and it just solidified that I thought if you weren't in the room that it was decided and it was dead and it was mute Pittman's moot point, but it was absolutely not. It was a game changer. And I actually took the whole week off and I did a staycation and I put hours and hours into my business last week after conference because I was that inspired to get organized and to get a new mindset, and the conference will do that for you. So, if, like I said, if you don't have a chance to attend next year in person, virtual is please at least do virtual because it will set you on fire. That's it.
Katie,
Yeah.
who was your favorite speaker?
Um, I love, okay. I have a little bit of a crush on Dr. Arthur Brooks. I now have downloaded all his books on Audible. So I have like all his like stuff. He is funny. He talks about the mindset of happiness and Lisbeth, I know that she's doing it, like going outside an hour before the sun comes up with no electronics, nothing. It will set you up for the whole day. And it is actually the truth. And I really, really liked the gentleman, and now I'm drawing a blank on his
Bill.
was it?
Bill.
Bill, yes. Loved him too. Seeing the generation at conference that this legit, no fucking joke, guys, 70 years at convention, I could see the generations, the great grandparents, the grandparents, the
Right.
parents, and then the kids. It is not a like it's not a wishy-washy trend. This is not a trend. Shackley's not a
Yeah.
trend. Like it is legit. And that's what really sparked everything for me. So I can't say that enough. If for some reason you can't go there in person, and I understand it's a big expense, it's a lot of planning, just go and be virtual. And you will feel the energy. You will feel it and you will learn so much.
Thank you. Michelle.
Okay. So I'm kind of going to touch on the feels a little bit too, because that was huge for me. This was my first convention. Obviously, I just started in the end of April, like 2 days before the end of the month. So I had no idea what to expect or anything. Never been to a convention or anything before. And Lisbeth and I were just sitting there jotting all the notes down and trying to take it all in. Um, some Bill was my favorite, I think. He was so good. And just so many of the things that he said, like I wrote down a couple quotes. Like a epiphany, I guess, that I had was like, I am holding myself back. I'm not showing up every single day. I'm not, I don't care. Like I literally just right before we got on the call, like some days I'm just like letting life consume me too much. But right before I got on the call, I was like, I haven't posted about Vivix Plus yet today. Like, I need to jump in my story real quick and say something about it. Like, that I'm going to be learning about this and things like that. Like, I have in the last 3 months realized, like, okay, the more I'm actually sharing, clearly the more people are like actually responding to me and things like that. Another thing, or one of the things you wrote down was, or I wrote down was, they're dealing with something bigger than their desire to be successful. And that hit me personally because I have so much going on in life all the time. And like, I make excuses for myself in my head. Like, there's too much going on right now. Like, oh, I'll do it later. I'll do it later. Like, it took me 20 seconds to post a story. Like there is time. I need to make the time for myself and if I want to grow in this business. Um, but another thing that was kind of a cool little story, when Cassie was getting her hat, we all went up with her to wait for her to have that made. And I was just sitting on the couch and there's a girl sitting next to me and she introduced herself and she's like, "Hi, my name's Michelle." I was like, "Michelle? My name's Michelle too." And we kind of laughed about that. Well, then the next day she was the leader for my masterclass. And she is so full of energy and Michelle Best, and she was amazing. And I got so much information on how to hit director because I'm still working towards that goal. Um, One thing that I know we talk about it a lot, but it just really, really hit me, I guess, during being like in the live event for that was we are, or the product is the solution. Like, we need to be looking for if somebody's like complaining on Facebook or something, like, I'm so tired all the time. Hey, I have this protein, like things like that. And I know that a lot of you guys know this stuff already, but this is new for me and new learning things. And just like how Elizabeth was talking about, like how we talk about the products with people, like being more like on their level. Like, no, they're not going to understand all of these scientific terms that we're learning and things like looking for the problem, starting the conversation with a basic question instead of reaching out like, hey, I have all this information for you at once. Just
Yeah.
reaching out like, hey, I saw that you're tired, whatever. Like, would
Yeah.
you be interested in just I just learned a lot. And it was so amazing to be there live.
It was. And it's just so nice to like hug each other like in
Yes,
person. I can't
it
wait to do
was.
that with you guys again. And I'm never gonna I miss you guys all so much. But you're right. And it's like it doesn't matter how long you're in this business. Like the number one conversation that I have with a new person when they sign up, they immediately are like, what do I do? I'm like, go talk to your friends and family. And then they're like, they come back 2 days later and they're like, man, I really thought my friends and family would support me. And I'm like, you're missing the mark. You're missing the mark. It's not about them supporting you. It's about you finding a solution for them. And that's exactly what they were saying in that speech is like the product is a solution. Like, how can you help them solve one of their problems? Not how can they show up and like buy something just so you can say you sold something, right? It's like that's the impact piece. So, yes, thank you. I love that. Okay. Miss Pachetti. You're blurry. Oh, there you are.
So I was supposed to go to convention two, and backed out probably like a week before just for personal reasons. Um, but I did tune in during work. And I liked Bill a lot. I think being a man of his age, like he's filled with knowledge and just the fact that he had all of that information to give was like really a gift. Like I'd like to watch his speech again. And even watching it from home, you really could feel like the energy in the room. Like it was so excited to see, it was like fun to see you and like Amber walk across the stage. And like I was recording it and I was like in my office, like, yeah, there are my girls. And it was just, I did still, sorry, that's my cat. I did still get a lot out of it. I'm obviously excited to do an in-person event, hopefully in the future. But I did take away a lot more than I thought I would from it. But I agree with Katie. The master classes being recorded would have been nice, especially since when you switch to virtual, like you're still paying the same amount. So, um, but other than that, Bill was he was cute and he was fun to watch. I really liked him.
I love that our company honors people
Mm-hmm.
in that way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, just because all of these people like Mel and Sarah Robbins and Emily Ford all come in, it's like, but let's give these monstrous awards to like our legacy leaders. And like, the best thing that could ever happen is like you snag a seat next to one of them and they just say like a one-liner and you're like, what? Say it again. Like they're so like they just like I don't know, they're yeah, I loved Bill so much. Okay. And Marissa, you have also been to a live event. So you knew what you were missing and made the best choice for yourself.
Yeah.
So Not that you're
Yeah.
beating yourself up for it, but again, please do not. Like,
Yes.
I'm so proud of all of you who still tuned in from home. Okay, Julie.
Hello. So kind of
Hi.
the same boat of I was supposed to be there. But work is not fun sometimes. So, um, but I have done conferences and conventions before with another um company, and I agree being in person is 100% like the best thing. You also won't have to miss out on the fun, like random surprise concerts that happen. But so I mean, it's cool that those are things that can happen. But what I truly appreciated, especially because I was listening to this in between calls and like doing things for work. So there were moments that I completely missed. But I loved the fact that all of us, regardless of if we were in person or virtual, were in a chat. And so my phone's blowing up and I'm like just antsy to like get off of my calls so I can like get into the chat and figure out like what I'm missing. And Cass, you actually had dropped a photo in here, and I can't even tell you who the person is who's speaking, but it's a girl with short hair. But her slide says, decide you are a partner, take ownership. You are building your own independent business. Make a decision what you want from Shackley. Um, and I will be the first to say that I'm like hard on myself, but I also will be the first one to be like, but I have this going on and this going on and this going on, so I can't do it. And even with my one-on-one with Cass just a couple days ago, she's like, you know what I'm hearing? She's like, more or less was saying like, you're making excuses, like you need to stop. And so just seeing that, like that was a huge one. And then Heather had dropped on the other side of that is without connection, people aren't going to stick around and they're not going to take action. And if they don't feel like they're being led authentically with love and actual true support, they're going to feel that. And I am awesome when it comes to like bringing people into the product or bringing them into the story. And then again, we'll get into my own like feels and 4,000 businesses that I'm doing and be like, oh, yeah, I have people I need to follow up with. And then it's just like, no wonder they're not talking to me, or there's crickets, or no one is like responding. It's because I'm not showing them the like love and support that they deserve, especially when I led them to, something that can change their life. So, um, I think it was just super important. And I really appreciate Cass for putting us all together and not just being like, well, if you're alive, you're alive, like you're missing out. I used to honestly get that from my other company that I was with. And this was completely different, where I still felt like I was a part of it. And even when it wasn't convention, they're out having a great time. Like they were still dropping things and making us feel involved. And so definitely it was still a great experience. And I can be a true test of it truly can be something that can be done in the little pockets of your time. Because that was really all I was able to give is like, I have an hour here where I don't have anything going on. Let me go check back up that type of thing. So overall, it was really great and can't wait for Atlanta. So
Yes, I like that. And I love, like Katie mentioned, like the recordings are available. I think it was Katie that said that. Like you
yeah,
can still
yep.
go and check them out. Like so whatever you missed, right? But I love that you said that. Um and it's like you you are such a brilliant business owner and you are spread so thin. So it's like your customers know that, right? So even like a midnight, like we were saying, like a midnight, like, hey, I know it's midnight. Don't get back to me until tomorrow, but like I was just thinking about you. Did you get your package? Like, how are you liking it? Do you have your stuff in the fridge? Like, it can be Julie's way. Like that's the best part about this being your business, just like your bread business, right? Like it's
Mhm.
the exact same. You get to make it how you want it. So,
Definitely.
okay. We're gonna turn it over to Heather. And also I found out right before this call that Marie also teaches about NAD. So look at that. We have another resource. Yes, I'm calling you out. Hi, Marie. So please, Heather and Marie, do not kill me when I'm sliding into your inboxes like with 1,000 questions over the course of the next 25 years. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so before I start talking about NAD, I wanted to just point out like a common theme from everybody's takeaways from the event because I have also been to 8 million conventions and summits and retreats and all the things. But like Julie said, every single person that just spoke as a leader, whether you're a director or not, just so we're clear, you're here on the call, so you're a leader. And if you care about your business and you're talking about the things that are important to you, that means you're a leader. That is your biggest asset is making that decision that you care. Like that's what matters. So I just wanted to start with that because we're all freaking leaders, damn it, okay? So just because one person is at an event and one person isn't, doesn't mean shit. I wasn't there, but I have 8 million kids. Right now I have approximately 85, to be honest with you. So my first priority right now is football. I couldn't go. I could not attend live. That is what it is. It's the way that life looks right now. And your busy is not invalid just because you can't do something that other people can. So, just wanted to let you guys know that leaders build in a place because they belong. They build in a place because that's what they care about. And again, the connection piece, like Julie talked about, that to me matters more than any amount of information I can spew about a product. Like, I want people that I'm speaking to know that I care about them and people that I'm helping get into my groups and people that I'm helping with a product or with whatever solution they need to have solved. I need them to know that I am invested. Okay. I'm probably spending way too much time looking up ingredients and looking up things that are going to help them with whatever that they need help with. And that all of you guys are perfectly capable of doing all those things too. It's again just making that decision to do that. It's literally just all just a huge shift in your mindset. That's really all it is. And whether you're director or not, it doesn't matter if your people know. I mean, it matters in business, it matters, you guys. Okay. But people need to know that you are going to be there for them at midnight or at 2 o'clock in the afternoon when their kid's taking a nap. So it really just matters what you put into it. And the biggest thing that I wanted to just share that I took away because I found it so cool that they shared it during summit or God dang it, convention, um, is that feelings aren't facts. Cause I learned that phrase in therapy last year. Your feelings are not facts. Your feelings, like what you think are your feelings, those thoughts that you think might be right for you, but those are still not facts unless it's literal like scientific information that you're delivering from like a dictionary or from like a journal or things like that, right? Like that's facts. So we have to stop being worried about acceptance from people because their thoughts of us don't matter because they're not facts. The facts are what you tell yourself about what you're doing in your business and what you want to accomplish in your business and offer possibilities to people to live healthier, better lives. Period. That's what my biggest takeaway was from all of it. Um, okay, so hard pivot into NAD is okay. So NAD is such a it's an interesting supplement. It really is. It's an interesting formulation of science and research and clinically backed studies. And I have been using NAD specifically a version from my functional medicine doctor for about 6 years now. I have a heart condition, so it's something that they told me would be beneficial for me. My husband also uses it, so very different reasons why though. So I'm going to try to get into some of the different reasons for like men versus women, things like that. And again, since Marie knows about it, y'all can ask her too. And I won't be afraid because I love asking Marie questions. Um, so the main premise of NAD is that it really helps with energy metabolism, DNA repair. Um, I'm gonna say the word cellular maintenance, and for those of you that might not understand what that term means, I'll break that down for you in a second. Stress response, muscle functioning, muscular repair, brain metabolism, sirtuin activity, which I'll define that word for you in a second as well. And also mitochondrial function. So that's like the breakdown of your cells inside your body. So this is a little bit of sciencey stuff, but I'm going to try to like keep it in as much layman terms as possible so you like understand how to talk about it. Your cells in your body, there's bajillions of them, quite literally, and they're always doing stuff 24/7. The cells in your body, they're like a fine oiled machine and they're always put to work. There's different kind of cells and different organs and different bloods, like in your blood, in your bones, and their cells literally make your body up, guys. So it's important to understand that NAD is actually something that's already made in your body. So even though it is highly marketed on a, so much different social media platforms and Amazon and wellness studies all across the USA, it is important to understand that NAD already exists in your body. What is important to understand the difference with like for Vivix purposes and things like that is Vivix plus complex is NMN, apigenin, whatever. I don't know how to say it right now. It's like apigenin, I think is how you actually say it. And then polyphenols. So the reason that that is important is because research has proven that over time, your metabolism changes, your cellular health decreases, whether we want it to or not, as we age. Part of aging is inevitable, and our cellular health does naturally decline. Um, the reason that I care so much about that is because A, I have a heart condition. I have an enlarged heart. My body is dependent on my cells working properly to pump blood through my heart. It's huge. A big reason for people who have like chronic illness and stuff like that to care about NAD is because our cells, somebody who is already sick or has issues in their health in general, most doctors are already probably prescribing an NAD. I'm going to be very honest, or if not, they're not prescribing, they're suggesting it. Because cellular health for people that are sick is incredibly important to generate in addition to what's already made in your body. So NAD is supporting your cellular energy, kind of like how caffeine energizes you, kind of like an energy or stimulant, things like that. This is the actual biochemistry that allows your body to produce cells and energy to give you more naturally occurring energy. And what I really do appreciate that they addressed at the conference as well is that this energy that people are getting from Vivix is a slow and steady increase. You're not going to take a Vivix and feel like you just drank an energy drink. That's not the way NAD works. This is a product that is built, or NAD in general, is a supplement that builds up over time in consistency. You can't just like take it for a month and then skip it for a month. That would defeat the whole purpose because it takes your body like almost 3 weeks to build up the NAD that the NMN and the apigen builds into your body. So with that being said, for the NAD, I want you to think of your body as like a massive, like a city. Okay. And your cells are buildings. Your mitochondria is the power plants. And the NAD is like an essential worker in some of the buildings. Does that make sense? Are we tracking that analogy? Okay. There's another analogy too that this could help also is like think of your body like a car, and NMN creates the fuel. Apigen is the fuel filter, making sure that the fuel is being used properly. And then the polyphenols are what drain out the bad fuel and keeps the good fuel. So that's another analogy you can think of that as. Hold on. I really need you to get out. You need to get out. Thank you. Um, so going back to the building conversation. So your body is the city. Your cells are the buildings. The mitochondria are the power plants, and NAD is the essential workers inside those power plants. And when you don't eat food and immediately have electricity, your body depends on the NAD that's already there. So it already relies on the people in the power plant. It is basically using the sources that you have in your body already. So your body has to convert carbohydrates and fats and other nutrients within your body system to energy, and that creates a reaction. You're either going to have energy, you're going to get sluggish, you're going to feel whatever it is that you're putting in, you're going to get out. So this breaks down to nutrition as well. And for those of you who like care about the way nutrition affects your body, sugar affects your body, lack of sleep affects your body, drinking enough water, staying hydrating, moving your body, even exercise, even all of that affects your NAD levels. So with that being said, the electron shuttling system, which is the NAD and ADH, which supports your cellular energy increasing, is reliant on the NAD participants, which are those little people in the buildings, to create a bigger, massive city. So all the little workers are your cells. They're grasping for the NAD that's all throughout your body, which are the workers. So if that does that make sense? Anybody have a question yet? Because I'll answer it because it's a lot. Like it's hard to grasp, but really it's just a fuel system, right? It's creating a bunch of builders, making sure that there's always builders coming into the building to do the work. As we get older, the builders retire. The builders go away for a little while. Like we have to replenish those builders. So what NMN and Apigen and the polyphenols of Vivix are doing are putting more workers into the buildings. That's literally what they're doing. That's the easiest way that my brain wraps around the concept of how NAD powers your body. But it is not the same thing as saying like NAD is a stimulant because it's not. NAD is more than just giving your body energy, it's repairing things. So when we talk about things like a lot of us talk about inflammation reduction, and a lot of us talk about the different ways that we want to like lose weight or have more energy or feel like we're getting back in like a check of a routine. That's typically common themes, right? I'm trying to think of other themes like mental health, even. So the way your mind works. Cells are within, I mean, I'm trying to think of a good movie to tell you, and I'm thinking of it, and somebody could help me. Is it Osmosis Jones? Is that it? Is that the movie I'm thinking? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Okay, I'm pretty
Yep.
sure it's Osmosis Jones.
Yep.
This is gonna sound stupid, okay? Go watch it because that's how your body works. And osmosis is a cell. Like Jones, the character, is a cell. And he is going around saving all the different body parts and things like that because the osmosis of his body, which is part of cellular, like the way a cell is made and things like that, literally it's like taking energy from all these. My computer just went black. That was so weird. It's taking energy from all these other places throughout the person's body that he's in to create energy for him to go on his trip. That's literal. It's such a silly comparison, but it's a cute kid movie. But also it's it's how cellular regeneration works. So that is a really good way that you can kind of maybe sit with your kid one day or one night and like sit and watch it and you'd be like, "Oh my God, I guess I kind of understand that now." Because it's like an easy way to compare it. So sirtuins, which are the complex of how like NAD is constructed, that those are the NAD dependent enzymes. You don't really have to know that though. Like it's not important to the purpose of Vivix Plus. I mean, if somebody is like having that serious of a biological conversation with you, I would just send them I would just send them the clinical research articles because it gets really, really deep, really fast once you get into the very intense biological concepts. But they are basically influencing the pathways involved in your inflammatory signals. So signals can look like exhaustion. Signals can look like mental fog. People can call it mental fog, brain fog. Um, Maybe they think they have mom brain. They maybe don't. Maybe they're just exhausted and their body's so broken down and they need a little bit of additional support to have those cells firing on all ends. Somebody that is 2+ years postpartum does not have brain fog from postpartum anymore. They have brain fog from exhaustion and being tired and not supporting their body properly. There's a lot of people that think that they're dealing with issues with postpartum weight loss or difficulties after, for me, I do speak to a lot of people who are chronically ill, but I'll have people that are like in recovery from being chronically ill, like years of recovery. And they're like, well, I just don't feel good still. And I can't seem to lose the weight. And I just don't have like the mental capacity to do it. That to me is like a sure in way. Like it's a huge red flag to me that they're either not taking care of their nutrition, not moving their body, or they're missing a few things in their routine and they need to be supplementing with something that can help them. So with the Vivix conversation, I'm gonna say that I think it's gonna be important that you're really getting in with people on in your conversations of what they're actually dealing with and understand where they're at before we just say, try this, try this, try this, because Vivix Plus might not even help them if they're only sleeping 3 hours a night. So that's something you also want to be careful with. I was watching some of the takeaways from other leaders at the conference. And one of this, I can't remember the name of the one speaker after they announced the Vivix. Okay, I have to think about that. But she was saying, like, a supplement is great. We can help with supplementation. We want to, that's our job, right? But if people's routines and what they're doing isn't supporting, they're gonna fall on their face. They're not gonna get the results that they're looking for because they're not supporting the supplement. Because if you're putting a supplement in your body and you are fighting for your life to get enough food in your body and you're fighting for your life to get sleep, your body's going to have a harder time catching up and you might not get results in 60 days. So that's something to keep in mind with the research that supports NAD production, the NMN and the apigen. Yes, thank you. I do believe it was Dr. Aaron. And it was just really interesting to me to understand, like for me, when I started using NAD and when I started really diving into it, every day I was tracking my factory workers, right? I was tracking my factory workers. I was tracking the fact that I started slowly. And for those of you who don't know, I am a cancer survivor. I have a crap load of digestive issues and I have an enlarged heart. So I'm I'm a sick kid. And I was actively noticing after like 3 weeks, my like digestive system was working a little better than normal. And I was like, okay, could be coincidence. Maybe I'm just doing really good with my nutrition, Like there was something there that was changing. The exercise felt easier over time. And I will say I am on a hiatus from my current NAD that I bought because I'm buying the Vivix Plus and I'm praying that it like kicks in fast because I like want to use it. But I also have been using NAD. I've been off for 2.5 weeks and I do feel a difference and not in a good way of not having NAD in my system. I sorry, this call is recorded. Poop problems, y'all. Okay. It's a thing. Okay. So stress in your body is going to decrease when you're using NAD consistently. But what I mean by stress in your body is like, I don't know how to explain it other than my joints swell up when my body's overworked. When I'm not sleeping enough, I literally poof up like a balloon. Um, Things like my immune response. That's actually what I'm the most scared of because my kids start school soon. I like need NAD in my system and I'm gonna like knock on wood and walls and everything. I haven't really gotten super sick since using the highest dose of NAD. So I am optimistic that Vivix Plus does the same thing. I also noticed things like my recovery from exercise. I think I already mentioned that, but also like stress reduction, decrease, and then also just noticing my heart rate variability was staying more steady. And things like that to me, like I do track it. Like I track it every single day. I'm notorious about tracking my symptoms and things like that. So for me, noticing those changes while using NAD was a pretty big deal. So that those are points of tracking that I would make sure that your people are using as well. And I know that they did post in some of the information on like tracking that people are going to be doing using Vivix Plus in the test group. I saw that Melanie had talked about some different points as well. It's in the team page, I believe. So you can go in there and get that tracker, and I would use it with your clients over the course of the 30 or 60-day test group because those are things you're going to want to know as they're using that supplement more consistently. Do they see an improvement in their sleep, in their energy, in their digestive system for that matter, in the way that they feel after working out, in the way, even if they don't work out, I will say NADs, it results boost when they move their body regularly. So that's something to keep in mind with your clients, even if it's just walking. The effects of NAD are accelerated by your heart rate accelerating. So that's just something to keep in your back pocket for people that want results, but maybe aren't exercising yet. So that's a good way to like maybe kick in Made for or whatever workout platform you're using. Just like share that maybe they try a yoga workout when they start Vivix Plus. You know what I mean? Because Vivix not Vivix Plus, NAD and kind of like trim also, like when you go and look into the clinical research of it, it specifically says in it, exercise does enhance the client's results. So it's like actually scientifically proven that it will enhance their results. And I do love that we are able to make that guaranteed claim. Like it's a big deal for me that I can say if you move your body, you eat halfway decent and you get a appropriate amount of sleep, and then you also use Vivix Plus on top of that, you will feel better in 60 days. But I'm not going to just say, sit on your butt and eat potato chips and don't go on a like 4-day bender with no sleep. And then Vivix Plus is going to make you feel better. That's not reality. So you have to keep it real with your clients as well, because there are going to be some people that are going to test those waters. They exist. So you want to make sure that you're addressing the optimal way for them to achieve results with the Vivix Plus. For me, something that I really wanted to make sure that I tagged into this is that oh my gosh, hold on. I lost my notes. Oh my God. So when I was like reading through everything and looking at like, I don't know if you guys want to know more of the breakdown of the NAD, but the easiest way for me is the building analogy or the fuel analogy. Like I said, it's just like the workers in the factory always being replenished by HR. Literally, that's what NAD does. Like that's what NMN is. That's what apigenin is. And that's what your polyphenols are doing. Technically, the polyphenols in Vivix are the filters, like they're HR. They're literally HR. They're getting the bad out and keeping the good in. So hopefully that analogy makes sense because for me, it all just like clicked. So I was like, okay, we need a lot of workers, which are the NMN and the apigenin. Um, but eventually those workers die off. So I know that sounds maybe dark and twisty, but it's like true. They eventually retire, get fired, die off, whatever. And you have to constantly replace them. And the NMN and the apigenin are the replacements. If that is not consistently coming back into the building, which is our cells in our body, that's when we start feeling crappy. And over the course of time, that naturally is going to happen anyways. But we would like for it to do it less. You know what I mean? That's really like the way that my brain takes in the information is that we want to decrease the amount of people falling off. We want to try to retain them and keep them healthy. And that is what Vivix Plus is going to do.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So, remember in the team chat when you left a voice note and you said it's important to remember that it's not actually NAD, it's the
Yeah.
molecular build that creates it. That's what you're talking about right now, right? With the
Yes.
NMN and the okay.
Yeah.
Those are
NMN.
the replacements that
Yes.
so it's like the molecular build that creates NAD but not
Yes.
actually. Okay.
Yeah. So NAD itself, even if you were to go get like a drip from a booster bar or whatever, no NAD supplement is NAD. NAD is a compound that's already in your body. NMN and apigenin are what create NAD replenishment. And then Vivix Plus obviously has the added polyphenols and things like that.
And oh, sorry.
You're good.
No, I just wanted to say if you have mistakenly spoke, because I did this when I was so gung-ho about Vivix Plus that I accidentally said, like, oh, it has NAD plus, like, ready to go. Like, it's okay. Like, it's okay to mess up and speak wrong and just say, hey guys, I'm learning like as I go. And then I really like, you can say that in your stories, like, hey, I messed up. Like, this is what I'm learning as I go because I did. I totally messed up and I'm saying the wrong thing and people were like, "Wait, what is this?" And then I totally corrected it. So if you have misspoke about it, it's not the end of the world. Like
And
it's
also,
okay.
most people don't realize that. A lot of most people are not going to call you out on that mistake. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Like most people don't understand that level of NAD. Most
I
people
called the
see
NDA when I first told you about it.
yeah, yeah. She's a lawyer, guys. It's fine. But yeah, and it's not that it's necessarily wrong because it's obviously sold and marketed as NAD, but a lot of people don't understand that the way that NAD supplements are created is with that NMN, the apigenin, and then whatever other compounds they put within the NAD. So that's something that we do have to keep in mind because some people like me have like a bunch of like sports gurus and health people in my community just because it naturally happened over the course of time and they will tell you that you're wrong. So, and they will call you out on it because they have. And not that I talk about it a lot. I actually never even talked about the fact until the past couple weeks that I've been using NAD for almost 7 years now because nowhere that I was working with had it. So I used a different brand, right? So that's just kind of what happens. And I really just love to think of NAD less of like a vitamin and kind of just like, for lack of better words, the factory or the workshop and things like that. It's just the way that my brain understands the information better. And I think that that will help like your people understand it a little bit better too. So,
Thank you for that. I have lots of notes.
mhm.
That was helpful
Yeah,
for me. Um, I saw like in Mel's voice note today too. She was like, just go for a walk, talk to your chat, like
yeah,
ask it to break it down. I'm gonna do this a million different ways.
yeah,
But that makes some good sense to me. So thank you for that. And thank you everyone who shared tonight and Marie. if you're ever so inspired and you wouldn't mind going live on the Legacy Collective page, sharing your heart and teaching, I would love to hear from you too. We are at time. We're actually over time, so I want to respect your guys' time. But yes, if you have time or capacity or bandwidth to do that, I would love that. Please. Please do it. Okay. I took little videos. I'm gonna be making a cutesy little reel of us at some
With
point.
everyone else's face like, and Cass like,
No, of every one of you teaching, actually, and talking. My face was probably like, well, because I was like, I was trying to like get a
And
little
I was
piece of
just like,
every one of you.
I look
Yeah.
horrible. I was over here
No,
mowing down freaking sunflower seeds the whole time.
it's okay.
like gawking at the screen, like, tell me more, please.
It's okay. It's okay. Okay, let's take
that
one
was
final
Katie. Don't tell me.
picture and we will go.
I loved it.
All right, everybody smile. All right, thanks for getting on, you guys. I will get the recording up in our team page shortly.
Have a good
Bye.